Okay. You need a gavel, Kevin.
I know.
Bang your mug.
Bang, bang my.
As long as your coffee doesn't go
I don't know
flying
if I'll be
everywhere.
there for the auction this year.
Okay.
You don't think you will be?
Eric says we're
First
ready.
time in 26
We ready?
Bang.
It's not quite 8:30.
Why?
I guess it's 8:30
I'm
now.
a lawyer.
Are we all good to go, everybody?
Yeah.
It is
All right.
8:30.
It is 8:30.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30. I will call us now to order for our July meeting. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome again. First thing on our agenda is our auditor's financial report. Bob. Oh, well, now we have all sorts of things going on the screen.
That's what happens when I try and hustle. Okay, I'm with you now. We began 2022 with a general fund cash balance of $15,823,611, with projected miscellaneous revenue and net property tax and taking out the estimated circuit breakers. Our total funds available for the year were $68,694,807. And from that, we have to deduct the encumbrances, the 22 budget, and we add back in some estimated unused budget, and then also deduct our minimum balance that the council has approved. Our beginning net balance for the year was $3,990,029. We've approved so far in 2022 general fund additional appropriations of $50,407. We have none requested for today. We had miscellaneous revenues of a little bit over $32,000, so our available funds right now for the general fund are $3,907,350. The next page on the report is the revenue, and I just am going to highlight some of the things that had to do with the property tax settlement. The first line there of 0100 property tax, you can see we received in $16.1 million, so that is 57% of what we had budgeted. We budgeted $28,345,100. Our levy was actually $29 million, almost $30 million. We can exceed the amount of budget we had. We cannot exceed the levy, which we won't exceed that because there is more generally in the first half of the settlement, but we did have a very good settlement that maybe Jennifer will mention, maybe she won't, I don't know. Next thing I'll move down is the alcoholic beverage excise tax, just things that we received this last month, 0122. We received $4,700. This is the second installment that we received, so we are over the 100%. There are some years when we get 3 distributions in a year. Most years we get 2, so we may be done for the year, but we may get another one yet. Financial institutions tax, that does come twice a year, and it was a little bit more than what we had budgeted there, so that is a distribution from the state that we are not really involved in collecting, it's just distributed to us. License excise is a little bit over 50%, and this is a lower number than what we had the June settlement a year ago, and I mean, I would think that that could be something to do with the inability for people to get new cars. So that is going to have some impact on the amount of excise that we receive. So we may have a little bit less in the fall than what we had last year, where excise usually goes up each year, but that may not happen in this year with the supply chain issues. Moving down to 0291, this is basically the Public Defender Commission. We received another installment there, so we should get one more installment yet this year, and so we are in line to receive what we had anticipated. Examination of records, down 0299. This is money, this is for State Board of Accounts audits that are done to other entities in the county, whether it might be the schools, the cities, everybody. It's always billed to us, and we pay it out of the general fund, and then we deduct the amount of those billings from the settlement and make the general fund whole again. But this isn't like bonus money because we have paid this out of unappropriated. I think that's all I had on the revenue side. Now moving down to the funds, the general fund, of course, we did have a nice month there, and so we are at $16.7 million. 1135 is Cume Bridge, and again, this is the property tax funds, and so there we're at $4.5 million. Cume Cap, we have been in the negative there for a while, but now we knew with settlement that was going to come back, so we're at $820,000, and we will finish the year. We could get into the same situation before we get to December settlement, but we're doing okay there. 1158 is general drain improvement, and that is, the surveyor takes care of that, and that would be ditch reconstructions, the major projects, and so we do have 1.8 million, but that does come in as part of the settlement, so just want to show you that one. Major Bridge is a property tax fund, and we are up to over $4.5 million there for, we use some of that, but kind of saving that for the big projects. Reassessment, 1224, again, we're now at $250,000, and we do have less budget than what we expect in revenue, so that fund, it doesn't have that high of a balance, so we're working on that one to get that one up a little bit more. Drain maintenance, and this is just the regular maintenance that are given to people who are on a regulated drain, and so we have $3.5 million there for all the various ditches in the county. 4540 is, we do have a Heartland TIF, and I believe we have never spent a dime out of that yet. I'm not even sure what the projects are for that, but we do have, we're not getting a lot of money, but we are up to $145,000. We did have the new property tax rate for the BOT, 4621, and so we have that in there, and now we're getting ready to make the first payment coming up here. The health insurance fund, which I mention that every month, and we are at about $9.5 million, so we're getting fairly close to where we were as the high point, and you can see that we did pick up $175,000 or something like that in cash. Where last year, we were taking money from that fund and putting into the general fund. That's not happening this year, so that it has helped the fund improve a little bit. The project fund, 4880, and this is our share of the Southeast Industrial TIF, the TIF out by Subaru, where we keep half the money. The city of Lafayette, it's put into another fund for them to use. This is our revolving fund is our share of that money, so we are at over $7 million there. And I think, I did have one more here, 8950, which is the ARPA fund, and we did receive another $19 million, so we are sitting at the $37 million that we were expecting as our second installment. And I believe that is all I have.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Any questions for Bob? Hearing none, we'll go on to our treasurer's report. Jennifer.
Good morning. Should have the report in front of you for June's interest. We earned $212,697.84, and this included an increase in the Fed funds rate. About mid-June, went up to 1.85, so we had an average rate at First Merchants of 1.48, and then across all of the banks at 1.43. For June, we should see a full 1.85 rate. I'm sorry, the Fed funds went to 1.75. We get 10 basis points over that. So you'll see that First Source, they changed their interest structure for us, and so we are earning at the 1.38% for June. They're going to follow the Fed funds rate, but they're going to pay us about 2 weeks behind. So we'll get that distribution July 15th for June, and then from there it'll be the 15th of every month. Bob commented on the settlement The only thing I would add there, our collection rate I reported last month was pretty typical for us, but we did certify for tax sale on July 1st, and where we normally certify about 95 to, let's say, 110 properties each year, we only certified 70 this year. So we're down significantly on properties for tax sale, and we usually end up with, 15 to 20 of those being paid off. So should have a pretty low number for the tax sale, the least I've seen in recent years, so that's pretty good. Distribution of funds then, you'll notice that for June, Bob pointed out those funds that received their property tax share. So let's say the Cedar County share, the second fund on your list, had a pretty big increase in interest from May to June. Same with like the revolving fund that's lower down on the list, went from $3,500 to $8,900. So those funds that receive their property tax share were holding more cash and therefore earning more interest than they do in the other months. So that's all I have on the distribution. I did change the budget projection for this year because of the increase in Fed funds rate. I'm now saying that the general fund will likely go from a projected budget of $563,000 to $789,000. And where we sit with that today is that we're 50% through the year and we're about 58% of that collected. So we may even be able to, hit higher than that target, which will also mean they'll have projections for next year's budget that will be higher than what we anticipated, and I'm watching to see if the feds increase the rate again and what their projections are for the rest of the year to see how we might budget for next year's interest.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Any questions for her?
Thanks.
Thank you. Now we're on to any public comment concerning any agenda items before us this morning. If there are no public comments, next we've got the consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be removed from that, or do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Is that you, John? Okay. I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Just a point, at the top of council members present, my last name was misspelled.
Oh, yes.
But the rest of the package is crystal clear, so.
Okay. All right.
Just a minor
notation.
Scribner error.
All right. With that clarification, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have additional appropriations. First up is the prosecutor.
Okay, motion for approval, prosecutor pretrial diversion fund 2560 appropriation in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Hamilton, a second from Councilman Richard to approve the pretrial diversion fund appropriation from Fund 2560 in the amount of $30,000. Discussion.
Yeah, Pat couldn't be here today, but he did share that these funds are to pay for the increase of gas. And also, the sheriff shared with me, since the bills, since they do bill the prosecutor's office for this, that the $30,000 is on track and is a realistic number.
Okay. Thank you, Jody. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next up, we have the Sheriff Fund 1156 appropriation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Firearms Training Fund 1156 appropriation in the amount of $53,890.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve the Firearms Training Fund 1156 appropriation in the amount of $53,890. Discussion.
This is just money we take in for handgun permits so we can use it to purchase ammunition. So that's all it's for.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Community Corrections Fund 1170, Lit Public Safety.
Make a motion, we approve Community Corrections Lit Public Safety Fund 1170, the amount of $50,243.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the Community Corrections Lit Public Safety Fund 1170 appropriation in the amount of $50,243. Discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jason.
This was for the purchase of mobile and portable radios for our surveillance officers. It was originally approved through CUMCAP at budget last year, and then was apparently transferred to public safety, but didn't officially make it to public safety, so we're here to do that.
Well, it wasn't ever in CUMCAP.
Okay.
It was never approved in CUMCAP, and it was not requested out of public safety. It wasn't requested on any form by anybody. Anyway. It was not in CUMCAP, because they can't transfer that to
Was
public
that-
safety.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess it's my understanding that it was, so.
Okay, discussion? Council?
So Jason, with these, the portable
Sorry.
radios,
Yes.
is this going to get you to radios for
Yes.
the whole staff, and we won't have to budget any for
Correct.
next year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Fund 2596, Juvenile A Project for appropriation for juvenile alternatives.
Make a motion, we approve for Juvenile Alternatives Juvenile A Project Income Fund 2596, SF23, in the amount of $5,850.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the Juvenile A Project Income Fund 2596 fiscal year 23 appropriation in the amount of $5,850. Discussion. Good morning, Rebecca.
This is our user fees ongoing for our juvenile community corrections funds.
Okay. Any questions? Pretty standard. No other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, 9203.
Make a motion, we approve JA Truancy Mediation Fund 9203, SF23, in the amount of $20,286.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the JA Truancy Mediation Fund 9203 fiscal year 23 appropriation in the amount of $20,286. Discussion.
This is our contribution from the schools for our attendance intervention programs that we do. How we put all pieces and parts together to fund positions.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have salary statements.
Make a motion, we approve salary statement 9203-SF23 in the amount of $13,430.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the salary statement for 9203 fiscal year 23 in the amount of $13,430.
I got a question.
Yes.
Mine says 490.
Yeah, that's 430 is the correct amount. Is that it, Bob? Yeah. On the form itself, it's 430.
It's submitted 4:30.
Yeah. The agenda says 490, but the actual form says 430. Are we good with the 430, I assume? Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, the 9641.
Make a motion, we approve the salary statement 9641 SF23 in the amount of $186,259.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the salary statement 9641 SF23 in the amount of $186,259. Discussion.
So
Got nothing. Salary statement as stated. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have 9168 grant appropriation for Health Department.
I'll make a motion, we approve for the Health Department Fund 9168 FR22 in the amount of $500.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve FIMR Fund 9168 FR22 grant appropriation in the amount of $500. Discussion.
This is just for Safe Sleep video advertising to raise awareness, so.
Okay. Any questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, committee reports. Nothing. Any other business items?
The only thing that I might mention is I have sent out the PDFs of the budget requests from the various departments for the council reps to start scheduling their meetings with those departments. July 22nd is when I hopefully will get the entire workbook sent out, the whole budget book sent out by email, and the 27th, hopefully we'll have them all printed and ready to go. And then by the end of the month, we should have the whole budget book on the auditor website, if anybody wants to download that of the other departments or whatever, if they want to see what we're going to be looking at. One other little note that I don't have all of the revenues and all of the information put in yet, but as of right now, for the general fund, then this is doing the DLGF method of how much we need to have cut in the budget. I'm at $4.2 million. Last year, that was a little bit less than $3 million, so we do have a lot of work to do there. So when you're meeting with the departments, we do need to see what we can do. And we've also gone with percent of the budget, the revenue compared to the budget, and we've tried to get to the 96, 97%, and that's even a worse number than what we had with the DLGF method. That's $7 million. Now, we don't have the lit numbers yet, so I have just entered the same numbers that we received for 22. Those could be $500,000 to $1 million more. They may not be. And we also do have some money that's sitting in that lit income tax rainy day fund, and I think that's $1.75 million. So we do have access to that. Whether you want to use all that money up in the 23 budget or not, that's something that you can talk about at budget time. But I do not have that in these numbers here. But just to let you know that we do have a lot of work to do, so if the departments can come up with some creative ways of funding their budgets, that would be appreciated, because it's going to fall back on you come the end of August.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Anything else for our other business? Any new business that needed to come before us? Unfinished business?
I do have something. Last month, I tabled the $100,000 from the Vaccine Reimbursement Fund for the Health Department transfer to equipment. I'd like to bring that off the table, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve the transfer as originally presented.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to bring, do I need to move to actually take it off the table?
Yeah, the
Okay.
motion is to take it off the table, and then you would have a motion to approve it.
Then approve it. Okay, so we're just taking it off the table for discussion at this point. So I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to remove that request from the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is taken off the table. Now I'll take a motion to approve that request.
I'll make a motion to approve the request of transferring the grant appropriation of $100,000 from the Vaccine Reimbursement Fund 9170 FY21 to other machinery and equipment.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve the request in the amount of $100,000 to machinery and equipment. What was the fund number again, Ben?
9170.
9170. Okay, discussion.
Councilmember Underwood and I met with Dr. Loomis and Amy to discuss the request for this. There's a plan laid out and a very healthy discussion, a very good discussion regarding the use of this money regarding for vehicles, the purchase of vehicles. They did demonstrate a need versus a want. There is some things there that, in my opinion, very worthwhile to have. Dr. Loomis has done some groundwork in terms of working with his department along with Amy as well, and Amanda, I think she's in here as well, to help demonstrate the need. And so I'm in favor of this motion.
Okay.
Yes,
Comments?
good morning. I'd like to thank Councilman Murray and Councilman Underwood for their help guiding us in this. I think that being new to this, I usually just lease a big car. So in this particular instance, I wasn't sure exactly what the needs were, but Amy and Amanda and I, and with the help of the council people, really honed it down and got 3 excellent cars that we are looking forward to picking up here in the next week. The cars will be utilized by all divisions of the health department. So I asked each one of the heads of those divisions if these cars would be manageable. In other words, is there enough room in the back seat? Are they comfortable enough? So we have 2, hopefully 2, there will be all-wheel drive and 1 that is front-wheel drive. One is the Nissan Kick and the other 2 are Nissan Rogues, which will more than benefit our staff and meet all of our needs. So I would like to thank the council people for helping us on this. It was greatly appreciated. I should add that we did come in $23,194 under $195 below the $100,000. And I'm waiting to hear from Nissan whether or not we do have maintenance on those. I think we have maintenance for the first 2 years of the purchase. So thank you all very much.
And I'll add as well, future ongoing maintenance record, you talk about fiscal costs, not just the right here and now, but in the next several years. Other grants will provide the funding to pay for oil changes and fuel and other things. So they won't be requesting any additional money out of the general fund for the ongoing use of these vehicles.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion from council?
So then the vehicle that is currently there, the county vehicle, then that will be transferred back to another area, correct? Or will you be keeping the current vehicle that you have?
You can have it if you want.
It will come back to the
Back.
commissioners?
It'll go back,
Okay.
yeah.
Correct, okay. I just wanted to make sure, I didn't know if this was going to be on top of what you were already utilizing. Okay, and these will be non-take-home vehicles, correct?
That is
They will
correct.
stay at the health department.
The only time I could see it as being a take-home vehicle is if somebody was going to be leaving for a conference early in the morning, rather than double packed to the health department. That would be one instance I could see. But other than that, no, I couldn't see any. Or on the flip-flop of that, if they got back at 11 o'clock at night from a meeting, that would be the only exception that I could see, unless you guys can think of any others.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other unfinished business for us? Commissioner FYI.
Good morning, everyone. I just have 2 quick things. You should have received an email, it's probably a month back, in regard to a one-day seminar that GLEA is having. GLEA is the Greater Lafayette Economic Alliance. That's on a week from today, July 19th. It's all day from 8 a.m. till 6 o'clock. But it is our economic development partners from our surrounding counties doing at this forum for elected officials. The keynote speakers are from Ball State, the Center for Automotive research, and there'll be site selector insight from Genovis as well. There's going to be breakout discussions during the course of the day in regard to the region's housing initiatives and K through 12 initiatives as well. And then wrapping up the day with an ice cream social, so that hopes that folks get to know each other a little better as we build or continue to build our regional planning and development initiatives. So if you have any interest at all in participating in that all-day event, reach out to me. The registration is $25 for that. The only other thing is obviously the fair is next week, so I'm sure we'll see you out there several times during the course of next week. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any public comment for us this morning? If not, I'll take the final motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are